basically there's four types of salespeople you'll see. I'll go through three of them. We're going to eliminate three of them, but we're going to highlight one of them today because we're going to work on this one. Because this one is the essence of what selling is about, especially in trade-based businesses. The first type of salesperson would be, you might want to write this down, order taker. Now, what do you reckon an order taker is? McDonald's. Well, what's the best order taking machine in the world at the moment that is actually destroying retail? That is absolutely ripping the heart and soul out of retail? eBay. Yeah, it's online. Online is the most efficient strategy if all your business ever wanted to do was to take an order. Because it doesn't sleep, it doesn't want superannuation, doesn't want holidays, doesn't want any of that. It just clicks. And a lot of retailers are struggling because essentially their businesses have been order takers and suddenly there's a better device for order taking now, so guess what? There's no retail. That's the first type. Now, my daughters actually, both of them work in a fast food outlet. And one of them is 20 years old and the other one is 16 years old. Out of the two, who do you reckon gets most shifts? Why? Yeah, she thinks she's better. I actually said, Ellie, you're not better. You're just cheaper. Because essentially, the model in order taking is get the lowest cost labour you possibly can. Now, if you're an order taker in business, you're in a pretty vulnerable situation, personally. My gut says. That's the first type. Let's eliminate that. We're not really order takers anymore. McDonald's is an order taking machine. And McDonald's are so systemised, they put a menu up there and all you do is you look at the menu and say, please, can I have that? They don't even do the upsell and the cross-sell anymore because the menu board does that. Because, you go in for a Big Mac and you look at it and you go, oh, I only want a Big Mac, but look, they've given me a deal. I'll mega size it and I'll actually put the fries onto it. So they take a $5 transaction and turn it into a $9 transaction. That's special. Okay. What do you reckon the next type of, I'm going to give you the next type of salesperson is. And I reckon this one is a real dangerous creature. It doesn't look dangerous, but it is dangerous. Let's call it the techie. Anybody met a techie? Okay, what do you reckon a techie is? Come on, help me out here. What do you reckon a techie is? Yeah, so educated in the promise, they vomit over the customer. Because you can't sell something if you complicate it. It is impossible to sell something through complication. The essence of selling is to make a complex thing simple. But here's what happens. Let's just say that you're a bit of a techie. And I've worked with a lot of techies. And they actually confuse the customer and the customer says, I'll think about it. Or have you heard this statement? Oh, do you have a brochure? What do you reckon a brochure is? It's an exit strategy for a customer who wants to tell you to rack off. But basically, that's what it is. It happened to me recently. I had to buy a new computer and I went into a retailer. It wasn't even Harvey Norman. And I got a techie, 20 years old. Okay. I'm 51. Okay. This person was just, I don't know what they were on, but they were talking technical language. And here's what I did. I nodded my head, actually in the impression that I actually knew what he was talking about. I had no idea what he was talking about. But I didn't lead on because, I'm not going to say I'm a stupid person. What do you reckon? I'm a dumb shit. Just stop there, please. I'd go like this. Yeah, I understand. I got no idea what he's talking about. And here's what I say at the end. Can I have a brochure to think about it? Realistically, he could have put in red on the brochure, up yours, and I would never have picked it up. Because guess where the brochure went? In the bin. Guess what I wanted? I just wanted somebody to help me to solve my problem. And all that I got from this guy was, you've added to my problem. And why would we do that? Why would you do that if you're a techie? Why would you do that? Like, what is the instinctive reason you would do? What is the reason you do that? You got it. Why? Because I've got to show you my significance. It's like the badge of honor. It's like I've got to show it to you, you know. Hey, don't you know that I've studied this shit? And I've done it because I had to work with veterinary surgeons, and it's so difficult to get vets to speak plain English. Why? Because they actually look at me and say, but you don't understand, Tony, we've been to university for 7 years. I have to use this. Okay, so that's the techie. Now, if you've got another techie, you can talk techie. You get that. If you've got a customer who is a techie and you're a techie, go for it. Make love. It's amazing. Two techies together, it's like, my goodness me, just stand back and you go, wow, they're making love. But in the vast majority of cases, especially if you're actually, it's a business to consumer sale, which predominantly is, essentially, they're not going to be as educated as you. So my job is to make a complex thing simple, not a simple thing complex. Because if I make it simple, you'll say yes. If I make it complex, you'll say, I'll have to think about it. What's the next type of seller? Yeah, you got the problem solver, but there's one before, because the pressure seller? Yeah. I'm going to call them the new Messiah. Have you had a new Messiah? Says yes to everything. Yeah. We can be there in 1 hour. No problems. No, don't worry. No problems. No worries. We'll be fine. You know, and I know, they can't deliver. And what do? Overpromise, underdeliver. Don't manage people's expectations. People get pissed off. They don't blame the person. Guess what they do? They blame the industry or the organisation or the business. So my philosophy, if you've got someone who's a bit of an overseller in your business, you need to take them out in the car park and kick the crap out of them. Because ultimately, it's affecting everybody, because it affects the reputation of the entire business. We've all had it. You know, I've had a bad experience with Vodafone. Was it a truly bad experience, or was it a bad experience with a person at Vodafone? It was a bad experience with a person at Vodafone, and then I went really viral, and I started to post blogs everywhere about how bad Vodafone was. And it was almost like this worldwide crusade, because somebody pissed me off. Because what did they do? They didn't manage my expectations. So that would be the next one. And you're 100% correct. Today is the day that the sole function of selling is to help people buy, but ultimately your true function is a problem solver. Every single person here, every single contractor here, irrespective of whether you're a plumber, or electrician, or landscaper, or concreter, or tiler, is essentially in the business of solving people's problems. I'm in the business of problem solving. What do you reckon the great thing about problem solving is? There are. What was that? Absolutely. What else is the great benefit of problem solving? Have a look. We live in the Western world. What's the great thing about the Western world? Yeah. Anything else about the Western world? Come on. Australia. Easy. Yeah, easy. Here's a question. Are people ever satisfied? No. We're greedy shits. We always want more. I'm a marketeer. My job is to make you miserable with what you got so you continue to buy shit you don't really need. It's true. It's the way it is. People go into massive amounts of debt just to look good. Their problems aren't real. Half of the time they're psychological. But they're still problems. And I'm going to show you today, essentially, what those problems are. Because I've got to show you how to trigger those problems. And you can trigger people's problems by asking the right question. Absolutely. So easy to do. Because deep down, you actually know what drives them.